yeah, Vitor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode from Broke to Millions Live, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Man, we all the way back, man. My man, Wendell the Guzman. What's up, homeboy? You been rocking it out down in Miami. I couldn't even get you back, bro. Went to the podcast. We hang out with David Shands and CJ Winnie. And, man, it was Loon.
Yep. Well, blame it on American Airlines.
Oh, yeah. Yours went that great. I flew American, but it wasn't that bad, man.
Yeah. Well,
oh, hey, man, we got to get that Instagram going, Walt, when you get a second. So, guys, we're going to do something different today, man. We're gonna give you some training, man. But we got our students here today that's going to ask us some questions that hopefully will help you understand what you're trying to get into to elevate your game in this real estate, man. But what I'm telling you, one thing, guys, if I don't leave anything else, man, do you realize that it is someone's job to get up every morning and give out millions of dollars? Do you realize that? That changed my whole thought process. And I never would have did that if I would have never been in the room.
being in the right room.
Yeah, it reminded me of in the Bible, man, it talks about the lady with the issue of blood, right? And for years, she constantly was bleeding. And all she said was, if I could just touch the hem of his garment. And so then I started thinking about, like, you know, I like to try to get in the mindset of what people are thinking about. And she was like, if I can just touch the hem of his garment. And what I really was like, man, I think what she really was trying to say was, like, if I could just get in the room, like if I could just get near him or near them, it could change.
Yeah.
And it was what she was believing. She knew that the message that he had would be life changing. And so just by getting in the room, she became healed. He told her something that could heal her issue. She heard something. She believed something. And I'll never forget, I went to these conferences, and every time I just get in the room, I just get near them, I hear something that changes me, even to this day. And I'll never forget, I heard that same message I just shared with you. I heard the message like, look, somebody's job is to give you money. It's somebody's job every day to give out millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. And here's the thing. It's somebody wants to write a big check. They don't want to write a check for $20,000 or $50,000. They want to write a check for 20, 50 million.
That's true.
And then they kept saying, in the room, they kept saying, man, you need to do deals in the Sun Belt, because that's where they want to be. So I remembered what I heard in the room. I went down to Florida, put a deal. Do you know right now, because I was in the room and I heard all that, I got 2 people now trying to give me money.
That's crazy. Can you imagine that, guys? People want to throw money your way.
And I ain't talking, listen, man, it's crazy, man. Do you know I was sweating like for 2-3 years, like, where are we going to get this money from? Where are we going to get? But every time I shared, like, man, it's somebody needs you more than they need you. You need them.
Yep.
And when I changed my mindset to say, hey, like we like to say, you the lion or the cat. Don't put them investors on the pedestal. They need you just as much as you need them.
Yep.
And when I changed that mindset, and I finally said, you know what? It don't matter. It's gonna happen. And as soon as I changed that mindset and I got in different rooms, my whole thought process changed, and then things start changing. Like right now, we got a project that's ready to fund. I don't care, worst case scenario, it'll fund. And I got two investors, two groups, maybe three that want to drop like more than 30 mil.
That's crazy.
Now, guys, I'm not saying that to brag. Like I'm no different than you guys. You gotta realize I was homeless. I was couch surfing. I didn't have no home.
That's crazy, man.
I had 4 flat tires every morning. And I had to get up every morning to shake the battery in my car, go straight to the gas station and put air in my tires so I can get to my destination.
That's crazy. And you went from that to like, when was this? Monday, we submitted an offer for 55 million on a 1,000 plus unit apartment complex.
Guys, what I'm telling you, it happens. Like, you literally are one big deal away, but the key thing in everything, like, look, I can give you the game. I was sharing with everybody on Facebook the other day. I did a live, man. But 90% of the game is mindset.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a work ethic. Man, even real estate, I take that back. Real estate is a work ethic when you first start. Now, I was grinding. When I first started, I was working 12, 14-hour days. And now I'm back working 12, 14-hour days. I thought I was done with that. But you don't have to. It's just because I wanted more. I wanted to do something different. But I share that, man, because literally your net worth is your network. So if you continue to get in multiple rooms, you continue to spend money educating yourself. If you continue to pour your wallet into your mind will pour into your wallet. And that's what's happening right now. And like, I'm just sharing with you, like, get in a room. It'll change your life. It will bring you wealth. Being around different people, like being in a community. And if you're not, I don't encourage you. I'm telling you, do it. Like, I don't give advice. I'm telling you, those are the key things that you need to do.
I mean, we paid good money. Like, for some of you, that's like your income for the entire year. Okay, we paid that amount of money just to be in the right room, right, Mike? And like, one advice, one referral, one contact that they introduce is like night and day in terms of the impact that they have. So we are walking the talk, guys. We are telling you what we do day in and day out. This is not theory. This is actual practice right here.
I'm just sharing the game what you need to do, man. Because like, if you really want to get it, you really want to get that bag, follow the steps, man. Get in the room, go get training. Like, you want a blockbuster hit movie. You want a lifestyle like a New York bestseller? Follow the pathway. Hey man, look, I ain't gonna get in, man. I was about to go hard on that, man.
Okay, let's talk about.
Was I going too hard on that, man?
A little bit, but that's okay. All right.
So we're gonna talk to our guy. These are some of our students, John. And we got Stephanie Williams. Where's Stephanie at? She in Florida? Florida, right?
I think so.
Or she everywhere?
So, guys, you've seen podcasts where we bring in a guest and then we interview the guest, right? Well, this one we want to try something different. That is, we have our mastermind members, our students actually give them the opportunity to ask Mike their questions. These guys are 1 or 2 steps ahead of you guys, in terms of their know-how, right? Well, Stephanie is probably like 3 to 4 steps ahead of you guys, okay? But so we took someone who is not as experienced, and then someone with a lot of experience with single family homes, and they get to ask Mike any questions that they want, right? Then after that, we will talk about deal structure. A lot of you are interested and actually requested this topic, Mike. A lot of people are interested,
Really?
like, like how will I make
deal
money if
structure.
I have like 100 investors, right?
That's crazy, right?
Like how will I even make money, or will they control the deal if I have 100 investors and I'm the only active partner?
That's a great topic
You know?
today because
Yeah.
like that's why I'm moving. I'm gonna have to structure my deal now. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have to adjust a little bit, but
Okay.
we're gonna tell you how we do it.
Then of course, like we give you chance to ask Mike any questions that you guys have, and then we'll talk about how millionaires think, so that you guys can think like a millionaire. So with that, let's
Okay,
jump right
I'm
in.
gonna tell you
yeah.
one more thing, but when we get into it, and then like, um, guys, that room is crazy. Like I'm in a room right now with one of our mentors.
Mm-hmm.
They the biggest players in the game.
Mm.
I ain't gonna- I'm always leveling up perspective, right?
In hotels?
No,
or in
just
apartments?
like just general.
Really?
Like we dealing with one guy like Ash Cash. Ash Cash probably did like he's on with Earn Your Leisure, and he did like I don't know $5 million in a day. These are people doing deals in other avenues.
Not just real estate.
Yeah,
Got
my
it.
man, it's not Myers, Milton, I think. He does infinite banking. He did 11 million in one day.
Nice.
You got, I can't think of his name, but man, he's crushing in e-commerce. Man, he was so crazy. He got like 3 different luxury cars, and it was so crazy because he's so flashy. He is so flashy. I love it. And he got a Bentley, a BMW, and a Rolls Royce, and he got them wrapped in his pink, shiny, and then he rewraps them a different color every couple of months.
Oh wow. Good thing Rolls Royce allowed that.
But dude, he's making.
Sometimes they don't allow that.
They do whatever they want.
Yeah.
After you get your car, you do whatever you want, man.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think is it Ferrari that doesn't allow that. Like, there's this
Really?
this YouTuber who wrapped his Ferrari like pink color, and then they banned him. They took the car
They
back.
want.
Yeah, it's like crazy, crazy. So,
All right, well, let's get into this, man. So yeah, and today we're sponsored by Bird 360. If you haven't got your ticket, get it now. Bird360.com. Coming September 26th, 28th. Come to see that. And by the way, I'm going to be speaking at the Black Local Developers. That's happening September 8th as well, Cincinnati. So if you guys want to come in, I'm bringing some of the top developers in the country to come speak. Fireside chat. We're going to record it live as well, and we'll share that. I might even do it live.
should we announce that?
Yeah, I'll put it in there, and we'll do that as well. Also sponsored by DeSoto. Go to NassauInvest.com. Nassau Invest. Look, if you want to be an investor or do other projects similar to this, go to NassauInvest.com and join the investor list so we can keep you updated on projects similar to this. All right. Do not show.
Well, I already said this. So the first, so we'll have 2 segments. The first 2 segments,
Okay.
as I said, we have our mastermind members. The first one is John Bitorf, who is relatively new to real
Okay.
estate investing, and then the second one after that is Stephanie Williams. So,
Okay.
John, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, cool.
What's
So-
up, John? How you doing, brother?
Doing all right.
Okay, man.
So, where do you find information for where businesses are moving into areas so that when buying properties, the cap rate will drop?
So, in other words, where do you find areas like emerging markets? Like what happened to Eden Irwin project? Like that
Oh, so-
basic jobs are coming in.
So how do you find areas,
Areas
that are like in the
those.
pocket
Yeah, exactly.
that are up and coming? Mm-hmm. I should be able to answer this really easy. Mm-hmm. That's a good question, John. Well, I'm going to tell you how I did it, and then I'll give you kind of ways to do it. So I wanted to know what was going on in the area, And what I was told was you go to the local community councils and the city councils and you watch what's coming to the market. But really, before it gets to the city council, at least in Cincinnati, it gets to the local council level first. So like in Cincinnati, we're made up of 53 different small little neighborhoods, right? And so in Coreyville, which I ended up becoming president of, we knew when all projects were coming, because if they wanted to do the project, they had to present it to us first. And the city would not give approval until you had local support. So I had my ear to all the local community councils, and you would hear when a project was coming. And one of the kind of the two big projects that I knew were coming, and then which moved into other ones. So like one of the first things was I knew the highway was coming. I knew they were going to do all these big developments. And so when I knew that, I saw what happened in the past. Like when the highway comes, they buy you out. So I went and bought a lot of property around the highway. And I was buying them for like, man, these were like D neighborhoods, F. And I was buying property for like $300 to $800.
Wow.
And I ended up selling those properties for 80 to 180,000 each.
Wow. That you bought for
Literally $300 to $800.
bucks.
Yeah.
Man, talk about spread.
The
there.
most I spent was 26,000. So, you know, being in tune to what's happening in the neighborhood, John, will really help you find out what's going on in the area. And so once you find, or even that, you can go to local councils and say, hey, they have a what they call a plan. And every city has a plan for their communities. And you can find out what's happening. If you want to be really ahead of the game. Now, the other thing is you're in tune to, you know, like CoStar and the local, like you got to figure out a neighborhood you want to be a part of, what city. And then you find out what's happening in the plan for the next 3 or 5 years. Because now I will say, like in Columbus, I didn't realize that what is that? Intel was coming to New Albany. New Albany, they're going to spend $20 billion in New Albany.
Nice.
And Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, and all these companies coming. And guess what? That's going to be so much compression, meaning so many people coming that it's going to create so many jobs. And then that's going to compress onto the outer cities, because while they're building that, them people there's no room in New Albany, so they got to go in the city of Columbus. So now my hotel's going to be filled up
Nice.
for the next 3 or 4 years, but then I'm getting out.
Nice.
John, is that answering your question there? Is that what you're trying to figure out?
Yeah.
And then if you really want to see what else is happening, you can go to like your Census Bureau. You can see where the job growths are, where the jobs are coming. Where are some other places? I mean, there's a lot of things like that, but your city council, community council is going to let you know. And then the big thing is find who's doing feasibility studies in different cities. Like ask the city if they have a feasibility study. And a lot of times that tells you what's coming into the market. For example, even when you do a hotel or apartments, you say, hey, what's coming to the market? They will provide all that data of how many new jobs are coming, new projects, new hotels, new apartments. So you can really see what's going to hit in the next area. And then after that, you got to kind of put your map together and see where areas will potentially collide.
Yeah. So what that means is this.
Hey, Walt, camera, the iPhone. Go ahead.
And John's actually it's BJ. That's his nickname.
Oh, BJ.
So BJ.
BJ, why you go backwards, man?
It's a long story.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have time for that, but it's another live podcast episode probably. But like what Mike means by that is this. Like people are thinking, okay, it's
it froze.
it's location. So therefore, I'll buy in areas that are very good locations, right?
Yeah.
Well, on paper that sounds good until you consider that everybody, all investors are doing that, right? So but when I observed Mike and Nate and I saw this in action, what they do is they actually buy properties, what Mike says, calls like in the pocket. So what that means is, these are properties in not so good areas still, but they're right beside a good area that is growing, right? And where that growth is, it's going into that bad area. Because when that happens, guess what? Rents and prices in that area that is right now is not so good will actually skyrocket. And I've seen this happen, in this area in part of Avondale where the rents went from
crazy.
like when they bought that property, the rents were like 600 a month, or even lower. And then now the rents is like 1,400 a month, right?
Yeah.
Because that area has been growing like crazy, and that's when Mike said you have that like explosion of one area going into that bad area, and then now all of a sudden that bad area is like a very good area now, right? And so yeah, that's and because it's still a bad area, let's say today, right? You can buy properties really dirt cheap, but then you anticipate where the puck is going, right? As
Yeah, there you go.
As
That's
Gretzky would
Fine.
say, right?
He don't go where the puck is. He goes where the puck is going.
Yep. So, all right. Well, BJ has two more questions.
Okay, go for
so
it.
let's. Okay, go
Well,
ahead,
here, try
BJ.
this one, man.
How much more hands-on is owning a hotel versus apartment? As in, like, dealing with like an apartment, you're dealing with like a property manager, versus a hotel, you're dealing with staff
Yeah.
or property manager, property improvement programs, things of that nature.
So question is like, what's the difference in labor and everything there? So let's just take, for example, my Courtyard is a 145 key hotel. I got a GM, I got a AM, I got 3 front desk people plus a floater. So what's that, 6? I got 2 people working food and beverage. So that's 8. I got 1.5 maintenance. Let's just round that up to 10. I got like 5 or 6 housekeepers. We got over 20 something people to run that. All right. And then it's more to it. I'm missing some people. Versus the apartment, man, for every 100, typically you got 1 property manager,
One leasing agent, or
one
2
leasing agent, and 2 maintenance
guys. Yeah.
And then now, so what's that, 4 or 5, right? For the prop, that's 5, 4 or 5?
Maybe 4.
4. And then you're gonna have some outside contractors that come in, but which is everything. So 100 units, man, you kind of on cruise control, and it's not so much day to day unless you're really hands on. Now with my hotel, as long as my GM is really skilled, and I forgot a sales guy. I'm just checking in on a week, once a week, and maybe some calls during the day. But then, as if you have the right system in place, like I have an asset manager, and so that asset manager is really me, but much more skilled in hotels. Like my guy is Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy's really skilled in hotels. Like he can run 20, 30 hotels
Yeah.
at one, just him. And so because I have that system in place, man, I'm spoiled, bro. Like I don't have to deal with none of that, man. But I did it for the first 3 years, so I know what I'm dealing with. But now Tommy comes in, I know exactly what happens, what's going on. So I mean, hotels are a little more tense, but it's a little more sophisticated. And then you're bringing in more cash. You got to realize my 100 unit, let's say 1,000, that's 1,000 a month. What's that, 100 grand? So that's like 1.2 a year. Whereas my 100 key hotel's going to do like 3 million a year.
Wow, big difference.
Yeah. So
more than twice. But the bottom line, BJ, is that when you have the right systems in place and the right people, like managing a hotel is no different than managing an apartment building.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's no difference in terms of time and effort, or how hard it is, because in a hotel you have the right people to manage everything anyway.
That's right.
So did that answer your question, BJ?
For the most part.
Okay, come on, let's get it done, man. What we missing? What you trying to hear?
So my next question is, then how do you vet or interview, and what questions, or like how do you know that the GM that's coming in knows what the hell they're doing? Essentially, like,
yeah. See, you got to know the questions to ask. So
right.
So for me, now that I've been around, I know what's important. So when you're running a hotel, the SALT scores are important. And that's all about cleanliness, taking care of guests, things, food service, all those things. They need to be up in the 70s, 80s, right? And so then I want to know what sales systems or sales skill sets my GM has. Now, some property asset managers, or hotel owners, they don't care if their GM is not a sales guy. That means everything to me. Because if you don't understand sales, the sales are to me, the most important thing in the hotel is your sales team.
Yeah, revenue. Yep.
You got to bring in revenue. If you ain't, and listen, with a hotel, 40 to 50% of the revenue is based off of brand loyalty. Meaning you sign up, your 40 to 50% of your total occupancy should come from the brand. Okay? But the rest comes from your sales. So if your GM don't understand sales and all he doing is working on cleaning the hotel all the time, that's great. But I need to make sure they can bring in the revenue and they can keep up scores and they know how to delegate. And so those are the things you want to have them show you that they can do those things, or how they experienced it. And so, you do a track record of where they've been, where they ranked, what were their scores, how did they increase revenue, how did they respond during the PIP, talk about the challenges. Anything and everything happens in hotels. But you want to know how they handled that situation. But for me, the key is how they scores and how they dealing with sales. And if they kind of hit those off the way, like, I'm excited for them. Because the rest of the stuff, man, it's just being competent and having some skill set.
Yeah, the rest they can delegate to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and, and then, like, do they know their numbers? Like, a lot of GMs, they don't know numbers. Like, how long does it take for your housekeeper to clean the room? It should only take them, like, 20 minutes, maybe 25. And if they ain't doing, so many rooms a day, like, my housekeepers need to do, like, almost 12, 13 rooms a day.
Per person.
If not, you slacking. And then extended stay, so those are the kind of things that you need to be able to vet and follow up to see that. Then, you just naturally do your background checks. But even then, right, you're going to get a sour grape or a sour apple, it happens.
Yep. Okay, last question, BJ.
So with investors, how do you vet investors, managers, and people that work for you, basically, to make sure that they're people that you're getting in bed with aren't basically criminals?
That are not criminals.
Yeah,
are
criminals.
That are not criminals. Yep.
Yeah, basically, like.
Well, the problem is, all my partners are criminal ex-cons.
Well, no, not like that. But like, the last thing you want to do is get in bed with like a Bernie Madoff.
Oh yeah, no.
Like,
No, listen. They are, first of all, they out there, man. I met a guy. and they was telling me so much stuff. And then I was like, I just asked one question. Well, tell me the cost per square foot. And he said some old crazy number, and I was like, man, he lying. Like, first of all, you can't build that for that cost. Cat told me he's gonna build like these 400 units, and understand 400 units right about now. Let's just for easy math. Let's say that's $200,000 a door. It ain't gonna cost that, but let's just say that. So what's that? Is that 80 million?
Yeah, 80 million.
All right. My man told me he was gonna build that for 8 million.
Oh yeah.
I said, man, I was like, you getting subsidies? Like, so I mean, when they say something, that's why you got to know your numbers. You got to know what stuff costs, because when people start flipping their lid and just saying anything, man, that's when you get caught up, because there's facts and then there's truth, right? Sometimes people give you facts, but it ain't truth. So you got to be able to discern that, and that's just some of my experience. So, one, if you really want to analyze who you're getting in bed with, you can do a title search on them.
Like on the properties they own. Yeah.
You can okay, show me a history of your properties. Like, I know when I was working with the small company, man, they did a background search on the man, pulled their credit, and if they want to invest with you, man, you be like, man, we got to do background checks and clear. It's like it's just our process.
Yeah.
And that's how you can check that out. But the other thing, man, you just got to check their numbers. But I don't give them control over all the money. And if you do, you got to manage that monthly. You really want to look at it daily.
Yep.
Right. But you at least need to look at it monthly. But even monthly, it can go sideways, man, because it's all about check writing and not I've been with groups where they didn't pay the bills, man. We okayed it, they ain't pay the bills. Well, they ain't with us now. So you just got to be a little more intimate, involved. You got to ask the right questions. Just know their skill set and see, follow up with other people they work with. But then again, I know some people that. Well, no. We had a guy that actually was investing. He was raising money. And right before we was about to close the deal, we had to kick him out because it really wasn't that he did something wrong. It's just the deals went sideways. And so, he had the SEC after him.
Oh, wow.
So
Yep.
you just got to do a lot of due diligence, man.
Yep.
But for me, I kind of know when I hear their voice, what they talking about.
Yeah, Mike has a good gut feel. I've observed Mike did it like at least 2 times. It's like, oh, that guy I don't feel like and true enough after a few weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm
like some of our students, called Mike about this guy, and that was exactly what Mike's gut feel is.
I'm just like, man, something ain't right, man. Like, it's when you do it's because I've been around. Well, I know this ain't helping you as much, BJ, but I just been around enough, and you talk and do things differently, right? And I'm not talking about buying flashy cars or anything, but when you're talking about deals in real estate, you're articulating things and you have some numbers and certain information. And when they struggle to answer those basic questions, that's what throws red flags for me.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. That help you out, BJ?
Yes, it did.
All right, man. Everybody give it up for BJ today, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
You gonna tell us why they call you BJ?
All right, so
At another time, okay? We don't have time though, so.
So sure. I think they want to know.
Oh, yeah, no. Okay, go ahead.
John Sebastian Bittorf the 6th. So I'm the 6th of my name. My son's is the 7th.
Oh,
geez.
When I was born, my father had John and my grandfather. So my parents, in their infinite wisdom, decided to name me BJ, so I wouldn't be called Junior, Sonny, or Slick, or whatever grandparents want to give you. They chose BJ, and
Got it.
It's on me like glue.
Got
The
it.
only
Okay.
people that really call me John are my wife's grandparents and people that are trying to sell me something.
I got it. Okay. All right.
All right. So, if you find this valuable, like this video. If you're looking at this on YouTube, and subscribe or comment BJ if you're on Facebook or Instagram. So we know that you're watching this right now and you appreciate what we have. Next slide. So a little bit of plug here. So if you're a newbie investor and you want to do big deals, we can help. So text this number. This is one of our setters. I think this is Terry's number. Text 513-586-3169. 513-586-3169. So if you want, like BJ, being new, and then you have guidance from someone like Mike, again, text 513-586-3169. All right. So
All right. Next up, we got Stephanie. What's up,
Stephanie.
Steph? You here?
What's up?
Steph in the building. Yeah. What's up, Steph? What's going on?
Busy as a bee.
Yeah, man. You over there stinging them, I hear it. That's what I heard. Where you at? You in Florida or Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in
Florida.
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. You find something new lately?
This is a funny thing. Yeah, a lot of new single families is sticking to me like glue. It just won't go away.
Well, that's where you started off. It's tough, and I know when that's
Yeah.
just what you do.
So that's kind of what my questions are, which is something that I already know, but like I was talking to Win, it will help others that may be in the position that I'm in
Okay.
with this transition.
Okay. What's
So the first question that I have was that being that we do operate a fully functional single family wholesaling, real estate flipping, and we do new construction, as you know.
okay?
How did you transition effectively from single family to multifamily? Being that you're not going to just turn down, your bread and butter because it's operational, right?
Right.
But
Right.
we want to maintain the focus of running that business, but also maintain consistency and time to do more multifamily deals.
Great question. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a sacrifice. You got it either one or two ways. Either if you do make the commitment that you want to do big deals, that consistency that you were providing for your single families, it kind of may go away for a minute, right? Because, you're going to turn away deals because it takes up time.
Right.
Like when I finally just said, man, I ain't doing no more single family. Like, and I just stopped. I ain't look at them no more. I ain't do it. And I started getting more bigger deals now. But the way the deal was presented to me, like if somebody brought me a deal and I could flip it real quick and it ain't take a lot of time, I took that deal. But my focus shifted to larger multifamilies. And then when I got into hotels, I kind of stopped looking at multifamilies for me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like I shifted my focus.
I've seen that happen. So yeah.
And so if you don't like your single family flipping will take a slight hit unless you say, all right, I'm stepping out of this position, and you find somebody that's competent and you can manage and deal with weekly while you go focus on larger deals.
Yeah.
That's the only way it's going to happen.
Right.
Unless you've come across, but even with your wholesaling, you need to just market more to these multifamily.
Right.
I mean, the same one.
Which we've started to transition more to that.
Yeah.
So we're getting, so my next question leads into that too, about, we started connecting with brokers
Yep.
and they're sending us leads,
Yeah.
right? But now they're connecting us with other brokers that are outside of our target area. So now I'm getting that grass green on the other side thing, and you want to chase every deal. So I'm trying to maintain my focus in the target area of where we want to focus on those deals.
Yeah, the first
So
one's
they're
always
like-
tough, man.
Yeah.
It's like going down that dark rabbit hole. What the way I got into it, no, I can't even say that. The first two I found on my own, so I didn't really have the brokers sending me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mine was different. You know, it's tougher for you guys because it's so competitive out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think just the way you market it for your single family is the way you should market for your multifamilies. But with the brokers, if you can get more clarity with them on what it is that you desire and what you're looking for, then people can be more cohesive in a joint effort. And because you gave them clarity, that you can make a connection that allows you to start acquiring. And so you're dependent on that broker to give you something that you could create value, and on top of it, they're willing to sell for you. So for example, whenever a broker sends me something, you know, I'm interested in, or they know me, I said, man, first of all, why are you sending me this? Like, just stop. Why are you sending me this? You know, I have them hard questions because I ain't got all day to be looking at all these multiple families and 50 families,
Right.
you know, all day. Like, you go crazy. It's good to look at 100 units, but that's a lot. So you really need that broker to help you out. So when I talk to them, I say, hey, look, man, I appreciate you sending this, but what's so great about this? Why are you sending this? Like, can I push the rents? Does it need minimum renovations? What can you resell this at? If it's such a great deal, why aren't you doing it? Like, help me out. Help me to help you. And so now when brokers bring me stuff, they say, Mike, you got to do this. And I'm like, well, why? Well, one, you could push the rents up. I'll say, all right, you got me. I'm listening. And it don't need a lot of heavy lifting. I was like, I'm listening. And then he was like, man, we could buy it for $2 million. And I know we can sell it for $5 million. I said, okay, you catching my ear. Now what else? What do we got to do to get there? Man, you only got to put $500,000. I said, see, that's simple math, baby. I ain't had to get into all that cap rate. I ain't had to get on that cash on cash. You know, like, tell me why. You know, like you got to make them work, right? If they want, because them brokers need you just as they you know, they want you to think you need them, but they need you. But you show them that, look, man, I got capital, I got deals, but this is what I'm looking for. I need something I can create some value, I can push rents, and I want cash flow. Like, I don't want nothing, nobody else different, but bring me the opportunity and I'll close it for you.
Okay.
And that's how you do it.
Cool. And then another suggestion, because you're part of the mastermind, right, Stephanie? I mean, if you network with other members of the mastermind, like in those areas where where, you know, the grass is greener on the other side syndrome, so to
Right.
speak, right? So those deals, like, you can partner up with the other members of the mastermind. So they take care of that. You take care of the deals that you want in your market, or whichever market that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Like, because, I mean, we got quite a few people down in Florida.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I would leverage some of them as well, you know, because some of them, they may have cash. Some of them don't. They just know how to find deals.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know? And
like
then who's that down? She's in Fort Lauderdale, too. Who's that?
Amber.
Amber, yeah.
Amber.
Yeah.
Amber.
We have
and
Robert.
Robert, that's what I'm
RK,
saying.
yep. We have Malika not in Fort Lauderdale, but in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, Jacksonville. Yep.
So you got a lot of folk out there. I would, you know, but, you know, I would really try to establish a relationship with 3 or 4 brokers and really communicate with them that you
Okay.
think can find something, and just really talk to them and be real. Like, man, look, don't send me that. This is why I didn't like it. And, you know, because let's say they send you a couple of deals and you review it and you be like, man, this is all retail. I can't do nothing with this, man. Why you gonna give me some deals or not? Or you got your own squad? Like, let me know, so we ain't wasting each other time.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta get aggressive with some of
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
them. All right.
Cool.
So my last question was,
Mhm.
being that we have done new construction, single family new construction.
Yep.
we're starting to receive land deals, right?
Ooh.
So now the curiosity is peaking. Should I focus on small apartment development or just continue with focusing on multifamily acquisitions?
See, the great thing is you're in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and so that stuff worked there,
Yeah.
right? Like, it may cost you something, a little something price per square foot, but you could rent it or sell it as condos. So like your game a little different than us. I'm in the Midwest. Like I'm in Florida now, right? Because I feel like them land deals, they're gonna be amazing. But it just depends on where it's at, where it's located, and even Florida, they want more affordable housing there. Like so.
And of course, I kind of have a little bit of background with that. So
So I think that's a great opportunity, especially right now, because I know, whether you like them or not, DeSantis is like, yo, I'm increased the density so you can build more. So
correct.
Typically, let's say it's just you could only put 2 units there, you probably could put 4 units or 5 units on it.
Oh,
now.
wow. Mm.
So now that property is much more valuable, right? So, I mean, you got to know if you can control your costs. And, that's like, I would definitely, in Florida, even in Cincinnati, I had no desire to do any developments in Cincinnati. But then it just so happened, I knew I had some lots that I was going to develop one day. But it just so happened, one of my buddies called me and said, hey, Mike, I'll buy that land from you. And I was like, well, what you trying to do? He's like, man, I'm going to put some apartments. I think I got some. I said, look, you ain't got to buy it. I'll throw my land in. Let's just put a deal together. He said, bet. So he put something together, and he brought it back to me. And then, like a long story short, he's like, man, we could build like almost 30 units. And I was like, cool, that's great. And I was like, what do you think it's worth? I was like, no, what's it going to cost? He was like 4.5. I said, man, that don't sound right. And I did my numbers real quick. I was like, dude, it's only worth $3.5 million. I said, well, let me know. It's in Avondale. It's a growing market. I think we can get some type of subsidy. So I called the people over the local. They was like, look, dude, bring me a performer and a rendering, and I'll give you some subsidy. And they giving us like $55,000 a door.
Which is like 1.875 million. Nice.
Which is what was more than
half.
gap. The gap was like $1 million and a half.
Nice.
So now I got a property that I ain't gonna put no money down really. Well, the bank's gonna want me to have something, but I'll get it right back. Right? And the land's gonna be worth $400. So I mean, we'll put up the money ourselves. We won't even need an investor.
Nice. So in other words, for you, Stephanie, be open to that possibility, right?
Yeah.
Because
I think
in your market, that's a good way to make money with these apartments,
Yeah, if you're comfortable building, man, I mean, I think you could kill it. Because, I mean, you guys are getting like $2 a square foot for rent.
Yeah, easily. Yep.
$2.20. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Or you sell 2 of the units as condos and rent the other 2.
Yeah, that's the other way too. Yep.
Or possibly mixed use, right?
Yeah, mixed use. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mixed use. Yep.
If I had that opportunity, I probably would, like right now, because I'm looking for office space so I can do me a new studio, I would use the first floor as my studio, office, everything, and I would get the other as apartments or condos, and I sell it off.
Cool. All right. Is this helpful, Stephanie?
Yes, it was. Thank you so much.
All right. Anything
All
else,
right.
Steph?
No,
That's it for now.
All right.
yeah, we only have 10 minutes for a 30-minute presentation.
Oh,
so,
Lord Jesus.
so
Lord Jesus.
go ahead. Let's move on. So
Okay, what we got, man?
next slide, Walt. So if you
I got
find
it.
this valuable, like this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're on Facebook or Instagram, type the word Steph.
Gram, if you're on the gram, type in Steph.
STEPH, Steph, right? All right, so that we know that you like this segment or whatever, right?
All right,
So
if you're on the ground, man, tell me, send me your hearts up, send your loves up, man. We just like to hear from you.
now next slide. So
Okay.
if you're experienced with houses and you want to do big deals, like
That's right.
graduate to the big league, so to speak, we can help.
If you want to
Text-
get her off of that, when you got Thanksgiving and you be sitting at the little kiddie table with them little kids and you get milk, you only get milk.
right.
He
so,
needs some milk.
So if you're tired of milk, you want steak, text the word text 513-440-5181 440-5181. So that's one of our people there, and we'll see if you qualify to join our Big Deal Maker apprenticeship program. So can you show the phone number again?
Oh, go back to the phone number.
Yep.
So, hey, guys on Instagram, 513-440-5181, 513-440-5181. If you've been doing big houses and you want to get into big deals, though, hey, just hit us up, right?
Apartments and hotels. Yep.
All right, guys, now we're going to get into some real information here, man. How to create win-win structures with investors. So many people not sure how to structure their deal on doing this. So today we're going to talk about debt versus equity, syndication, different simple equity structures, and creating a win-win. And guys, here's the crazy thing about doing deals. You're right.
Yeah. So it depends on many factors. There's no one set. There's no one
Until
set
you get to institutions.
structure that is always right.
Yeah,
So,
once you get to institution, the game change.
Yep. Okay.
All right, let's get at it. All right, so you want to take this one first, man?
Yeah. So that structure. So what that basically means is that your investor is a lender, and therefore, the return that they want is a set percentage. We call that interest. You're a borrower. Sometimes the loan is amortized. Sometimes it's interest only. Sometimes the debt is secured. Sometimes it's not. And the documents that you need are promissory note and mortgage if collateralized or secured by the property. Next slide. We need to.
Oh, we gotta go. So
Yeah.
equity, man, that's structure. So that's when your investor is a partner, and they could be passive or or active, right? So like whenever you do deals, you get debt. All right, that could be a financial partner like a bank, a GE. But then, for example, my deal in Sarasota, we got to raise 10, 20, 30 million. I'm going to go get an equity partner. And that equity partner in this particular position will be a passive investor. All right. You will be the active partner, but they will be the passive. And then, you pay the principal or amount invested at the sale. All right, you pay. Typically, they get a interest only, maybe, but they get equity in the deal, and typically they get cashed out. They get all their money plus a return at the close or at the sale or the refinance or what we call a waterfall event.
Yeah, but they also get paid on the cash flow too.
There you go.
Being a partner, right?
Yeah, and
on the deal.
And when do you use debt or equity? Like, when do you know when to go raise capital, or because when you get investor money, you can use it as debt or you can use it as equity. For example, there's some deals like I'm buying this small portfolio. I'll know for sure if we got it under contract. I'm just saying we got it under contract. It's $1 million, right? I'm going to flip in and out of it, and I know it's going to be short. I don't want to give up equity. And I got cash. So I'm going to borrow money and pay somebody anywhere from 8 to 12% on their money. Right? But if it was a $5 million deal and I needed to raise more cash and to make it so that these investors can get it 8 to 10 or 12%, I'm going to give them equity in the deal as well, besides debt, because it's so much money that be required to be paid out every month. I'd rather give them equity so I don't have to pay them every month and instead of taking debt. So, it just all depends.
Yep.
So use equity when the cost of debt is high. Yep. Doing long-term deals. You're combining with debt. The risks are higher. If you don't want to take, basically, if you don't want to take all the cash flow and the issues and the extra risk, bring an equity partner in.
Yeah. Yep.
But they get to share the reward. But when it's something like you can handle and you can get access to money, but you're just kind of short, then you short-term debt. So just to give you an idea, if you borrowed $100,000 and after 5 years you were paying 10% on that, you would have paid that person 50% on their money over a 5-year period.
Yeah.
Versus if you gave them equity and debt, you potentially not only paid them their $100,000 back, but you would have paid them an additional $100,000, so they would have got a 2x on their money. All right, did you catch that?
Yep.
You got that? Okay. Equity structure syndication. Tell them about a syndication, man.
Yeah, so syndication, there are two groups of people. You have the active partners, right, called general partners, because their liability is like, in theory, infinite, right? And then you have limited partners. These are your passive investors. Their liability is up to what they invested in, and they're completely passive. So whenever you have a structure wherein your investors are completely passive, technically it's a syndication. Okay? So next slide.
Now here's where it gets a little tricky and everybody doesn't really understand, but like you can do a straight profit split, 50-50, with a general partner LP, y'all split it right there in the middle, 50-50. You can do a 70 with a general partner LP, y'all split it right there in the middle. You can do a 70-30 with a GP, the general partner, this deal is 70% and the LPs get 30%. And in the GP, there's deals, and this is what you typically see at 30-70. When you're out raising money, you're doing a syndication. Typically, the GP gets 30% and the LP gets 70%. But the key is, I don't care if you're active or passive, you want to make sure you can hit a certain return. And that really dictates the structure.
Yeah.
But for some people, they don't care.
Yeah. Now going back to the GP and LP, the GPs are in control.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if there is one GP and there are 100 LPs, and let's say it's 50-50, the one GP owns 50% of the deal.
That's right.
And the 100 LPs, they own 50% of the deal.
That's right.
All right. So just want to be clear that,
But then
because people are thinking, if I have 100 investors and there's only one of me, therefore I only own like 1%.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's like people misunderstand that. Like they thought, you can say Mike is saying he has all these properties, but he only owns like 1 or 2%. No, he owns a lot more than that.
Yeah, no.
So it's
I own.
Mike doesn't work that cheap, right?
No, baby, pimping. Y'all can't pimp me like that, baby.
Yeah.
Don't pimp me like that. All right, and so look, in these debt equity deals, there's also prefs, and they range. 9 to 12% is pretty high for now, but people were seeing an 8-9% pref, or
sometimes
10%.
6%. Yeah.
But right now, the way the market is, I think that it's more in that 6 to 8 pref. So they get 6 to 8%. Kind of like a coupon, and then once they get all their money back, then that's when like a waterfall switch happens, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it was a 70-30 split and 70 going to LP. Well, once the LP got 100% of their capital, it could go all the way up to even out, 50-50.
Now, just keep it simple. Pref, what that means is, let's say you invested 100,000 and you get a 8% pref, then that means you get paid $8,000 first, before you do a profit split with the GP.
There you go.
All right.
And then there's profit split, like again,
Combination, profit split and pref.
50-50, 6 pref, 70-30, 8 pref. If you got a question, guys, just type it in there.
That's the reason why the pref only is 9 to 12%, because that's pref only.
Yes.
Yeah. But the typical is profit split. Yeah.
There you go. If you find this information valuable, like a video, subscribe, comment OPM if you're on Facebook or on Instagram. Type in OPM. If this guys was great information, guys, man, look, so many people struggle.
And we're not done yet. But anyway, it's okay. We don't have time, unfortunately.
So look, how to structure win-win deals with investors, right? Well, it depends on 3 things: the deal, the investor, and you. All right.
Yep.
Those are the things. Because the main thing is, what does the investor want? Okay. That's the key thing. What kind of return the investor want? And once you understand what the investor want and you know what the deal can perform, then you can determine how you structure the deal. Because if they want to make, 10% on their money at a 2x, and if that deal doesn't kick out enough capital, then maybe you're going to have to do a 70-30 to the LP. But if the deal kicks out a lot of capital, then no, we're not going to give it up. All right.
Yeah. Because of the time, let's jump right into.
Oh, where we're jumping?
Yeah, like the slide. Yeah. So, guys, well.
You want this one? Or
No.
right here?
Nope.
Oh, other way. Okay.
All right. So, guys, if you want financial freedom to go owning apartment buildings or hotels, so there are two numbers you can text, or call. If one is busy, call the other one. The first one is 513-440-5181, 513-440-5181. So you can join our apprenticeship program. It's a paid program. It's not free, right? But you get to work with, with someone like Mike, answer your questions, right? So, and we help you acquire an apartment building or hotel in the next 12 months. So 513-440-5181. Next number, you can call or text 586-3169. 586-3169. Next slide. So, before we do the Q&A, because we don't have time anymore, let's jump to the next one. So, guys, these are the students that we have, Mike's apprentices, who are successful with apartments and hotels. So the question is, why not you, right? So again, call or text these two numbers, 513-586-3169. If you've called one number, don't call the other number, okay? So we're just showing you two numbers so that if one is busy, you can call the other number. 513-440-5181. So guys, if these people can do it, and a lot of them are ordinary people, right? Like Tim Best is an introvert. He doesn't even want to talk to people. And yet today he owns like $100 million worth of apartments.
We're about to ramp that up.
And,
we're going to ramp that up to $300 million.
Really? Yeah. And then he raised like $15 million in private capital. And at that time, he was even doubting, right, that he could do it, right? And, and that's, his story is not like the only one. Like we have people like DLU, 4 hotels in 12 months, Johannes Erpelainen, 3 hotels in 6 months, Teresa Arvisen, retired from her job as an anesthesiologist, right? So guys, if these people can do it, why can't you, right? Again, 513-586-3169 or 513-440-5181. So with that, let's jump to Millionaire Mindset. Okay.
All right. So, when we talked about getting in the room, that would literally change your life. Because once you're in the room, that begins to adjust your mindset. And when you get the mindset, then that's when you'll begin to develop a skill set, and then you can take on certain tools to create this amazing life that you were looking for. Guys, no matter what it is that you desire, the mindset is everything. It's 90% of what's going to get you through these hurdles. Because let me tell you something. Here's the 2 things that you only need. You want to be successful? All you need is a mindset and a coach. I wish I could tell you it was much more difficult. But what I'm telling you is, if you get a coach, you get somebody that knows what they're doing, man, I promise you, you will win. You just got to make the commitment not to quit. I'm like, well, what, why would I'm telling you 1,000%, if you follow the process that your guide, that your coach, that your mentor gave you, and you stick to it, and you make the commitment not to quit, I'm telling you, you will succeed. Because success is nothing but a pile of mistakes. I was sharing with the kids I coach, man. I was like, I kept it real simple. I said, kids, man, you're going to make a mistake. And don't worry, because they was getting frustrated. Like, well, I couldn't do it this way. I said, let me ask you this. When you play a video game, do you win the first time you play? And they was like, no. And I said, well, even when you find the cheat code, even they show you exactly what to do you still win right away? No. But you do advance a lot more. Yeah. So my point is, if it takes a couple of times on the video game, and then it takes a couple of times on the video game, and you got the cheat code, why do you think you're going to succeed that much faster, or you cannot succeed? It just takes time. You have to adjust what you're doing. It's a different way of thinking. But you only will do that when you get in the room. Being in a room is healing. Being in a room separates the facts from the truth. For example, man, the truth is, the fact is this. If you step in the fire, right? If you step in the fire, your skin will melt and you will get severely burned. But when these men got thrown in the fire, but the truth is they came out unscathed. Because they had the power of God, they had the wisdom. They were in the room with God, and they believed in what He was doing, and they had their belief system. The truth is, David was just a boy, a teenage boy, but he went through so many different things, and it was the truth that he was fighting Goliath, a giant. I mean, the man had 6 fingers and 6 toes. And he had no armor, but it was a fact that this giant was bigger than him and should have destroyed him. But the truth is, he was anointed by God and he was able to take him on. So my point is, getting in the room is where all the miracles start to happen. Just get in the room. Because once you get in the room, you're now only one big deal away. Hey guys, so much. It's great talking to you, man, and I'll see you soon. See you next week. Peace.